Welcome to Soaps.com. I'm Kristen Burt. Joining us today, we have Kassie DePaiva and Nathn Purdee. So excited to have them because they are talking about their film, Killian and the Comeback Kids, which is now available on video on demand on platforms everywhere. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I watched this film last night, so I didn't know what to expect. And just came away with so many wonderful themes of community and how the arts bring us together and family. Maybe in your own words, sum up what this film was about for each of you.
Ladies first.
Go ahead, Nathan. No, you go first. Dad.
Yeah, they put the pressure on me because I happen to be the dad.
That's right. Taylor was the one who wrote, starred, and directed in this film.
And produced it and bossed everyone around.
I love it.
So for me, it was a great accomplishment for Taylor on his part. I have a hard time when people ask me, because the obvious question is, I'm a proud father. Yes, but let's just take that off the table. And the point is, he did a great job. I had no idea he had so much talent. I remember the first day he was at home on the Christmas holidays, and he said to me, "Dad, I'm going to write a script." I said, "Okay." And then about a month later, he said, "Dad, I finished the script. I want you to read it. I have a role in it for you." I went, "Okay." And then maybe 4, 6 months later, my wife says, "Did you hear from Taylor?" I says, "No, what's up?" "Well, he's coming here to shoot his film." And I said, "What film?"
The film you have a role in.
Right. And the next thing I know, we were in full production out here. And for him, what I learned is that he listened to everything, and he absorbs everything. And I just had no idea what to expect when I saw the film, when he was actually shooting the film. And it just shows that when he says he's going to do something, he does it. And that I'm very proud of that fact. I've had people, actually just as recent as last week, someone stopped me who knows us in the community, and the guy saw the film with his girlfriend, and he said it was so important for her to see the film because she heard that it was shot in the area. And as they were watching the film, he said she started crying because it took her back to her childhood. All the areas out here, she knew them. She knew the mountains.
And it was filmed, I just want people to know, this was filmed out in Pennsylvania. I want to say Lehigh Valley, is that correct?
Lehigh Valley, Eastern Pennsylvania, Bethlehem. And so everything was familiar to her. And so it had a great attraction to the community because people could relate to watching the film, and they knew the bars, they knew the streets, they knew the town center. And one person said to me, they were so glad that there was no focus on an interracial couple. It wasn't about the black.
Oh, come on.
Hey, listen. No, look here. Hot is hot, but
I get it.
We didn't invent it. What I'm saying?
Right. It's about family. Family is family, and that's all that matters.
And that's my point. It was all about family, community, growing up, learning how to get back up when you fall down, start all over again. There's a lot of different great messages.
Kassie, how about for you? What did this film mean to be able to work on it? And it really encompasses a lot of what you do because you're so entrenched in the music world too.
Well, I was just blessed to be asked to be a part of it. Nathn, I have to go back to 6.5 years ago. I was really sick with leukemia, and my dear friend Nathn came to visit me every other day, I would say, at least once a week, and he hung out with Jimmy and helped us through a really difficult time. So if you watch the movie, I have very short hair. So I want to say that was probably about 9 months after I had gotten through my leukemia vacation, is what I call it. And when Nathn asked me, I thought I would be honored because he's such a dear, dear friend. And then I read the script, and I just want to say Taylor's very fortunate because both of his parents are extremely talented. Roberta Morris, Taylor's mother, and Nathn, she's an award-winning documentarian. And Nathn, needless to say, he's just a gifted actor, musician as well. So I was very blessed to be a part of it. Had a very, very small part, but my first day of shooting, it was the scene inside the barn where they're putting the band back together. And I had not met any of these kids. And I thought, oh my gosh, these guys are so good. I'm like, I feel like I don't even know how to talk. But there was such a familiarity with Nathn and of course Taylor, that it just worked. And my favorite scene was the one in the kitchen. We were trying to get Nathn to laugh when I stuck grapes up my mouth. Whatever. That was my fun.
Well, Nathn, I imagine you had a hand in getting Kassie cast in this film. What made her the perfect person for the role?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the exact honest truth. Taylor was casting the film. He also did all the casting. And so he had seen several actresses that he liked. One other who was really a close friend of ours, mine and Kassie's, and he liked her. And one day he said to me, he said, Dad, do you think Kassie would be interested in this role? I said, son, no, actually, I'm gonna be honest. I said, dude, look, I don't know. He said, well, would you call her? I said, absolutely not. I said, well, why not? I said, look, man, you pimped me out enough. I'm not calling my friends, to ask them to do, you're gonna direct, produce, star in it. Grow up here, call her yourself. So he did. I gave him the phone number. He called her, and the next thing I know, and I know because our love for one another, mine and Kassie, she jumped at the opportunity. So Taylor just asked her what he'd do, and he said that he thinks that she's the closest person to his mother in terms of being a mother, being a loving, caring person. He thought that she would represent who his mother really is. And I thought, man, you're right. You're right. So that's how Kassie got, she was a shoe-in.
Shoe-in to get the role.
But you got to say that Taylor is a gorgeous human being. Between you and Roberta, I mean, his eyes are beautiful. He's just a beautiful soul, but he ain't hard to look at either. So he's a movie star.
And I imagine you've known him since he was little.
Oh, of course, I've known him. He and Dreama, we used to do some events, fan events when we could bring our kids. And I think Jim's daughter Dreama is the same age as Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Nathn? Aren't they about the same age? Dreama was born in 92.
Okay, so let me just put this on top of that. Kassie has known Taylor since he was born. Now, okay. I moved from LA to New York to do One Life to Live. Mm-hmm. My first day of shooting on One Life to Live, I was actually living in the hospital with my wife. And Taylor was born on the 14th of January. My first day on One Life to Live was the 15th of January. So I went straight from the hospital to my first day of work at One Life. And that's when I met, actually, Kassie and I met earlier before that.
Totally, when I was on Guiding Light, we were at an event in Texas, and Nathn and I sat beside each other and drank margaritas. That was dangerous.
Oh, that's friendship.
Yeah. And so that's how long, Kassie's known him since infancy, and we've been friends ever since. And when I met Jim, I was like, okay, he's a lifelong friend. I didn't like him at first because he was so cocky. Then I thought to myself,
cocky. That's just the way he comes off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then I realized I was actually looking in the mirror. So,
there you go.
Birds of a feather.
Yeah, exactly. So I love him.
Well, I just want to say that that sense of family resonates on screen. It felt very natural with how this family interacted. It didn't feel like we have two actors, we threw them together and hope they have chemistry. So that really, that thread kind of carried through the entire film, which was something that I really appreciated and didn't feel like, oh, I have to get to know this person. Now we're going to try and create an on-camera family. It felt like family. And that even runs through with the band that comes together in the film. And I just felt like, I know that this, I'm correct, this was filmed before the pandemic,
Sure.
but I feel like all of the themes really carry us through life right now too, and where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, there's several scenes in the film that it made me think that Taylor was psychic. Because how did he know this was going to happen? You know, certain things that was in the script actually came to fruition after the film was done.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Yeah, just sort of like the moving home, the millennials moving home, and then the costs in college, and the sense of community and rebuilding that. Go ahead, Kassie.
I just thought that he did a beautiful job with even the art direction. It was just shot so beautifully, and you really got to see Pennsylvania, and it was just really beautiful, I thought, and the locale of the house and the settings and the fields, and not only, and the music was fantastic, but it was just really enjoyable to watch the beauty.
Now that you've worked together in several different, chapters of your careers, any future plans?
Together?
Yeah, together. You and Kassie, let's make it happen.
I think Jim may have something to say about that.
It's a mood. We're talking acting, okay?
Acting.
I can't even comment on that. I'm so retired. It's crazy. I have a couple of projects that I've worked on, and I have one of the major project that I'm actually collaborating with a director. We've been working on this for a couple of years now. And at the moment, he's the artistic director for the National Black Theater Festival. His name is Jackie Alexander. And we did a project several years ago, and we decided and agreed that we want to take this play and turn it into a film. So that's the only thing that I'm really focusing on at this point. As far as acting world, I'll audition if it's something that makes me excited. But I know Kassie and I haven't talked about doing anything together. Would I work with Kassie DePaiva again? Hold on, let me think about it. Yes, I would in a heartbeat.
Can I throw something out? And this comes on the heels of yesterday's news that Days of Our Lives is moving from NBC to Peacock. This always makes me think like we could possibly see something like One Life to Live wind up, be revived and wind up on a streamer. The possibility is there. Would you ever revive Blair and Hank?
Well, yeah. they never let us vibe in the first place.
That's right.
And Kassie, now, is it true? I mean, didn't I at one point try to encourage them to have a Hank and Kassie? No, not Kassie, but Blair relationship. I do remember saying, why don't you guys put Hank and Blair together? Because they were putting me with everybody under the sun but her, and we liked each other.
Nice chemistry on screen. Yeah,
it would be great. I actually thought that they were going to end up putting me with RJ at one point too. Back when RJ first came on, Blair was bad and RJ was. Yeah. I thought that was going to happen. But
let's have all the fun. So
I would have loved it. So it would have been great.
Do you ever give a thought, like if you could create what Blair and Hank were up to in 2022, have you thought where they would be right now?
That's on you, Kassie.
Oh,
what's Blair doing in 2022?
Well, if she's with Hank, she's probably turned her life. She turned over a new leaf. So, or less, unless she has brought him into the, the dark side.
The dark side.
which Hank could use some dark side. If Blair was with Hank, she would be bored out of her mind. Because he was so nice and good, and role modelly, and it to a point. Hank, when I first joined the show, Hank had some attitude, and then as the show went on, Hank became nicer and, in my opinion, dumber about a lot of things. But he was an important character to help drive other people's stories. So for an actor like myself, I'm a team player, you know, from the start. I'm a team player. But you get me to a certain point and I start to get bored with the character because I'm not having fun, then I want to move on, you know, and that's what was happening. I just wasn't having fun because I was being so nice. And nice guys finish what?
Last.
Thank you very much.
On daytime, they do for sure.
On daytime, absolutely. So, you know, Hank started out as kind of a badass on One Life to Live, and then he became a nicer guy. You know, Hank the Cannon Gannon, you know, he was an ex-football player. He had some chutzpah, and it just started to dwindle. In my opinion, it just started to dwindle a little bit.
But you guys, you and Hillary and Bob Woods,
we had fun.
Such good chemistry, great. Even if the scenes seemed to be dull to you, just watching you guys work together was amazing and wonderful. And I mean, all three of you, I just adore. I smile when I think of you.
Well, you do know we were never acting when we were together. We were just being ourselves. You know, right. We were just being ourselves, and that's why we had so much fun. And I think a lot of people appreciated that.
Well, it was so funny, you know, looking through, you know, every now and then Twitter will bring up some stuff, and there's scenes with Bob Woods. I don't know if you ever had the issue with Bob, but you know, whenever it had to be like really, really serious, it made me laugh. So I can't imagine the two of you guys getting through scenes where you're trying to be like Joe Cop and, you know, Joe DA, and it's that to me that's just funny, pee in your pants, funny kind of stuff.
It was almost impossible to work with. We have Bob would take his scripts for the day, and he would
shrink them
to this tiny little, about the size of my phone. Okay.
Yeah, so he takes something like this and shrink it down to that, and I don't even know how you would read it.
But that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting at. So when we cut the scene and take a break, you know, a lot of people would look at this script to make sure they're on point, and Bob would pull this little teeny tiny pocket script out, and I'm saying, Bob, how do you read that? I can barely read it when it's full size. How do you read that? And he just
I'd be getting my glasses on, going.
Right, exactly.
We were putting glasses on, getting magnifying glasses out, you know, trying to go, okay, wait, give me a minute, I got to read it. No, Bob.
Yeah, and I remember one day he was looking at it, and so it was time to, you know, they're going, all right, action. And Bob just kind of looked up and he took his script and just rolled it up in his hand and did the scene with it in his hand. And then he looked at me and just kind of smiled like, I can do anything, you know.
Anything?
I love it. Can you spot the script and maybe some of the shots? I would love to see that.
Oh no, he's too professional for that.
Total pro.
No, he always had it memorized, and that's what to me, that was the strength of Bob Woods. He would take, and you know, sometimes the writing was great on soap, sometimes it wasn't, and his character always had to do a lot of exposition because he was telling people what had happened. And he would make it seem extremely natural. And it's hard. That's kind of hard to do when you're, you know, just putting out facts all the time.
He was the best, man. I miss him. I miss him a lot.
He was an absolute master. I would love to get your reaction, both of you, about the news about Days moving from NBC to streaming. Just any initial thoughts? Cassie, had you heard anything? Had any of the other cast members that maybe you were in touch with heard anything, or was this just a shock to all of us?
I think it's a shock, and as much as I know that streaming is the way to go, it makes me sad for network television, and it makes me sad for the soap fans and soaps in general, just because there's so many elderly people that still watch our soaps just like you normally do. They might even have to get up and change the channel. So that it makes me sad, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. I just hope that NBC, since it owns Peacock, will continue to invest in it properly. So it gets to, so it's not diminished as far as its look, its style.
Yep.
And I just want it to be out there for everybody.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Well, you make me think about my aunt Alma in Columbus, Ohio. She watches the soaps, and you're right. She's elderly, but she watches her soaps, and she doesn't have the first clue about streaming.
Yep.
And my cousin just bought her her first Android phone, and watching her try to use this thing just floors me. So, and I think you're right in that respect, Kassie. But it's all been off my radar. I haven't been watching. I haven't been following anything.
Yep.
I have been so focused on the next chapter in my life, and no one said, "Hey, Nathn, you want to do a soap opera?" Who could actually hire me to do a soap opera? And I'm not looking for that, but it's just not been on my radar.
Yeah. And the one thing I get concerned, it's another paywall. For, that becomes an economic thing for some people too. Just
With the
it is going to
streaming.
be, they have confirmed it's going to be behind the paywall. So that makes me worried for some people too.
Well, that's a huge concern, when you think about it. But what are you going to do about it?
It's the business. It's where the business is shifting too. And we're seeing even streaming trying to figure out how they're monetizing and how they're, keeping their finances stable. So
right.
Just and on the roll with it.
Yeah, and on the other hand, the upside about that whole streaming issue is, boy, I'm excited that my son is a part of it, because now, his film has been showed all through COVID, and he's really been trying to get it out there and for people to see it in the theaters, and it's shown in the theaters. I remember being on the road with him, going to Michigan, Chicago, Atlanta, all these different places where it was opening in theaters. And I knew he was working hard to get it in the streaming system. And so now that happens this Friday, I'm excited for him.
As of August 5th, it's available pretty much everywhere. I mean, every video on demand platform, you can find it.
Killian and the Comeback Kid.
Right. Killian and the Comeback Kids. And so I'm excited, and I think that's another chapter, because I know he wants to do more films. And apparently that's where they're going to end up going. So people can enjoy them at home instead of going and sitting in the theater.
Well, and hopefully we have another reunion between Kassie and Nathn. How about that?
Look,
I'm going to put it out there into the universe.
Okay, I'm going to put Kassie on the spot. All she has to do, because, Kassie is huge in the industry. So Kassie, I don't want to do the scene unless Nathan's in it. Then it'll happen.
There you go. Well, like yourself, I'm like pseudo retired because nobody's knocking on my door. So if somebody knocks,
maybe Taylor's knocking.
Yeah, I'll peek and see if it's Nathn. If it's not, I guess I'll just have to close it back up.
Right.
Well, it was an absolute joy to have you both. So good to see you. And it just was wonderful watching this film. I just, this sense of family and community and, music. Who doesn't love music bringing everyone together?
Yeah, so let's just give him a real good plug, and I'm going to let you do it. The name of his film is
Killian the Comeback Kids, and it is available video on demand as of August 5th. So go and check it out.
All right, August 5th. See you there. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you so much.